Welcome to the StartEngine Founders Summit. I'm the host for today. My name is Max Crawford. I'm StartEngine's content marketing manager, which basically just means that I spend most of my day writing. This is the StartEngine Founders Summit. So what is this? You know what StartEngine is. We help you raise capital from the crowd. We've helped over 275 companies raise capital. We have over 200,000 prospective investors in our network. Just last week, we announced that companies have raised over $100 million on our platform, which we're very excited about. And so we've been growing a little bit every year. And so today, we want to answer your questions about equity crowdfunding. How does it work? What does it mean to launch on StartEngine? How do you best position yourself for success to raise $1 million and grow your business? How do you market that offering? We want to answer all of those questions. So we have a day full of panels and workshops to do that. If that's not enough, you can also grab us at any point. We're all wearing matching shirts, so we're easy to identify. Some people have said that we look like a cult wearing these shirts. Others have said that we look like the night sky, dark, wondrous, and infinite, with each StartEngine logo a star. No one's ever said that. But maybe they might now. At any rate, let's get today started. So coming up first, you're about to hear a keynote from StartEngine's co-founder and CEO, Howard Marks. So Howard is the co-founder and CEO previously of Acclaim Games, which is a publisher of online games and is now part of the Walt Disney Company. He's also the co-founder of Activision Blizzard. And he was chairman of Activision Studios from 1991 until 1997. As a co-founder, former board member, and executive vice president of Activision, he and a partner took control of the company in 1991 and turned it into the $50 billion market cap video game industry leader. As a games industry expert, Marks has built one of the largest and most successful video games studios in the industry, selling millions of games. He is also the 2015 Treasure of Los Angeles recipient, awarded for his work to transform Los Angeles into a leading technology city. For 4 years running, he's also been named one of the 500 most influential people in Los Angeles by the LA Business Journal. He is a member of Mayor Eric Garcetti's Technology Council, and he has a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering from the University of Michigan. He's also bilingual and a triple national of the US, United Kingdom, and France. And after his presentation, Josh Amster, StartEngine's VP of Sales, will join him on stage for a Q&A. Please join me in welcoming Howard to the stage.
Thank you, Max. You're just too kind. I want to thank everybody this morning for coming. This is great. I love this day because this is when I get to meet a lot of you, people who are interested in building great businesses, achieving your dreams, being able to go out there and create a product, a service, and then in the end of the day, achieve financial success and also help your customers, whatever is the service and the product you're offering. And for me, this is the best part of what we do. Our mission is very simple. Our mission is to help entrepreneurs achieve their dreams. We started that mission 4 years ago when the Jobs Act became permitted. And since then, we've helped hundreds of companies raise capital. As Max was explaining, we just reached over $100 million raised. And that's just the beginning, because our vision is to go even further. Our vision for 10 years is to help 10,000 companies raise $10 billion. Now, you could argue, yes, this is a crazy idea. You're never going to get it done. You could argue that. But even if we got to 5,000 companies, I would argue this is a pretty amazing thing. And let's see how it goes. We have a long, basically, time in front of us. We've touched hundreds of companies already. This year, maybe a couple hundred more. But next year, maybe 500. So we're really interested in helping as many entrepreneurs as we can. Now, the reason I talk about the StartEngine values, and you'll meet a lot of the StartEngine people here, our entire team is here. So we even have our developers, our attorneys, all of the people who touch our customers are going to be here. And the values at StartEngine, we have 6 of them. The first one is called Own the Mission, and the mission is to help entrepreneurs. So when you work with StartEngine people, you understand that that is their motivation. Their motivation is to help you achieve your dreams. Make no excuses is really important to us because we don't want to be a company that fails at what we do. When we commit to something, we will deliver it. And if we can't, then we fail. And for us, making no excuses is part of our value. be a team player. So internally at StartEngine, we want people to work together as a team. So you'll see that our company is divided into two distinct teams right now, one headed by Josh Amster and one headed by Alan Jepson. These two teams, one of them is going to work with you as a company. And they work together. And we're not in a business where they raise a lot of money for a company and there's one person on the team who gets all the commissions and it's so exciting. No, doesn't work that way. We're not this old school financial firm. We're actually a new kind of modern financial firm where everybody works as a team and compensated based on the success of the team. And we want you to know that because that's part of why we believe we can help you. Stay curious. So that's all about learning. So we want to learn about your business. We also learn about our business. Every day, the way we improve the StartEngine platform, our technology, is because we hear from all of you issues or suggestions. And as we're curious, we're willing to listen. We're willing to improve. We're not perfect. We're not magicians. However, we're good at learning and improving. And so if we made a mistake, we will have this meeting. We called it IDS, where we identify the issue, we discuss it, and we solve it. And we do that every Monday morning as a management team. And then all the other teams, the marketing team, the sales team, they have their own meeting on Tuesday morning to talk about your issues. So they don't become, I would say, put aside and never dealt with. Do the right thing. Now, the world of finance, as you probably experienced it by being involved with banks and bankers or involved with people in the financial world, insurance, and is a mess. It's not great. And doing the right thing means to follow the rules impeccably. We're not interested in cutting corners. We're not interested in doing anything that would hurt you or violate any kind of rule that is out there. Doing the right thing is critical, in our opinion, to become successful. You probably heard the world of cryptocurrencies and what's going on there. They're not following the rules. It's successful, but it's not following the rules. And we just don't want to do that. We want to, and you'll hear that through the whole theme of all our presentations, is following those intrinsic, difficult to understand, but necessary rules. And then care about others. That is pretty amazing. We want people who are going to be having empathy and interest. Entrepreneurs go through great times and difficult times, and we need to be there for them. And we need to care. We need to care internally for our team members, but we have to care about our issuers as well. So I thought explaining to you our value system will get you a better sense of who we are as people. You'll see here a lot of companies that we've helped initially early on. We were an accelerator, which is basically a school for entrepreneurs. And we were the first one in Los Angeles. We helped hundreds of companies. But the problem was they couldn't get financing. So we lost a lot of our investment. And some of them became super successful, like Carbon 38 and Nplug and many other companies. But most of them couldn't raise capital. And we felt very frustrated. And that frustration turned into a solution. The solution became equity crowdfunding because without the ability to get capital, it's very discouraging for entrepreneurs. It really puts them in a position of no-win, difficulties. And access to capital is the solution. And with equity crowdfunding, with this new way of raising money, it's a solution. So one of the problems I want to illustrate is what's going on out there. So public companies. So obviously the great, I would say, reward for an entrepreneur that has a great business is to take your company to the public markets. That is an amazing achievement. I did that with Activision. However, look at what's going on. The number of public companies is declining over time. There are less and less. That means that the ordinary consumer out there has less choices to make investments. The entire American economy feels they're focused on these 4,700 public national market companies that are on NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. That's not that much for a country that has trillions of dollars in GDP. So how is that possible? And Many of the companies become private because it's too expensive to be public. Some of them merge, and very few companies are going public. Look at the IPOs. So you have the dot-com boom. You had quite a lot of IPOs, 486. That's still not a lot, by the way. 500 companies in a year, and the size of our economy is tiny. Look at this, 160 in 2017. And recently, you had some IPOs this year doing great, Uber and Lyft, but who's Uber and Lyft? I mean, that, again, very few companies get that opportunity. So the Jobs Act. So this was signed April 2012 by Obama. It was a bipartisan bill. It's completely, everybody's excited about it. There was no controversy. How often does that happen? And the reason was because it's called the Jobs Act. The word jobs is a pretty universal, exciting thing for everybody. And what it does, it helps entrepreneurs and small businesses get access to capital. So you have Regulation A, which is also called Title IV of the Jobs Act. And we did the first one. EDO Motors, we helped them raise 17 million from about 7,000 people. It was very exciting. And then the next rule that came out, so Regulation A Plus will allow you to raise $50 million a year. It's a big number. It's more capital than most of us need. And so the ceiling is pretty high. And then regulation crowdfunding, which is what we all work with together most of the time at the beginning before you go to Regulation A+, and that is $1,070,000 a year. So we have customers who raise $1 million and come back the next year to raise $1 million. We have customers who raise $300,000 and then come back and raise more. And so you can see here, Xcraft, Saunders, so Storm is here today, who's going to be speaking to you, and Popcom. And then the third one is Reg D 506C. It's a pretty complicated name, but basically it's for accredited investors only. It's not for the general public, but it allows a company to publicly announce their raise, which in the past you couldn't do. So you can go out and say, hey, I'm raising money. And if you're a wealthy investor and you're able to invest, then that's great. So we have a few as well. So if you look at equity crowdfunding in the US, it's small. It's a small business today. It's a bigger business in the UK. And you all know that UK is pretty innovative as a country. The fact that they have a bigger business than we have in equity crowdfunding says that we're just starting. You know, they've been in the business for a lot longer than we have. And we believe that we're going to eclipse past them in the next couple of years, which is normal. I mean, we have an enormous economy. And so the good news is we know it works. So one of the things that has been a big problem in the marketplace is that someone's going to invest in your company, they'll own shares, but what do they do with it? I mean, then, you know, they have to have some form of opportunity to sell them. No, they can wait till you go public, but we just discussed what the public system looks like. So what do? Well, we're going to be launching, once we get the SEC to approve our ATS, and we're very much in the last, I would say we're pretty much at the end of that run. We think that we're going to get a lot of feedback in the next few weeks. We've put together a way to raise money for you and allow your investors to trade it. Now, that's not available now, but we do talk about it because we think that once we have our trading marketplace called secondary, it's going to be so exciting for investors. It's going to enhance the value of your offering. It's going to enhance it because you're going to say, look, we're going to be down the road, subscribe to the secondary, and we will allow you, the investor, to trade. And hopefully it will trade up if that's the case. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? But it's a supply-demand market. And the way it's going to work is we're also a transfer agent. And a transfer agent is a company. It's called StartEngine Secure, and we track all the investors. Now, the fact that we know all the investors will help us do the trading very effectively and very efficiently, instantly. Typically on the stock market, when you sell and buy shares, let's say Apple shares, it takes 2 days to settle a trade because it has to go through all sorts of different things. In our case, it will be instant. The same way as you see cryptocurrencies trading. There's a rule called 12G, and I put it here. 12G says that if you are a company and you have over 2,000 shareholders, well, you need to report, meaning you have to do quarterly filings, and you're like really a public company at that point. You're no longer private. And that's just not good. It's expensive, time-consuming. It's certainly a distraction. So a lot of our companies would say, well, Howard, if I want to raise $3 or $4 million with you and end up with 5,000 investors, I break the Rule 12G. I said, no, you don't, because we get an exemption. And the exemption you get is with Regulation Crowdfunding and Regulation A, you're exempt as long as you use a transfer agent, like StartEngine Secure. If you use a transfer agent, you're exempt from that 2,000 limit. That's really amazing. That means you can stay private much longer. So we have a bunch of companies who are jumping to the bit to go on our platform. We're not ready again, but we wanted you to know what our plan is. The next thing we're doing, we're going to be announcing in a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe a little bit longer. We're announcing investment accounts. So right now, when someone wants to invest in StartEngine, it's very simple. They take their credit card out, they go to your page, they click invest, they type in their credit card, they put their name, address, and boom, they're an investor. They get an email that says, hey, you're an investor, you have so many shares. However, that's great. However, we think, which would be even better, is if they can open an account that is free, like a bank account, checking account with our partner Prime Trust, and transfer money there. So they'll transfer maybe $500, and then they can use that money to invest in many companies a lot more efficiently. They don't have to type the credit card anymore in the system. Great. And then the second thing they can do is they can also use their individual retirement accounts, which that's $10 trillion of money in accounts in the United States. These are people who are saving money. Now, most people don't realize that when you have your IRA, you're able to invest in startups with your money from your IRA. But most people don't know that. And the reason is because the Schwabs of the world and the Merrill Lynches and all these companies won't let you do that with your IRA. They can't handle that kind of transaction. So you have to do what we call a self-directed IRA. Now, it's so complicated to do. We've looked at all the companies out there who provide that service, and it's amazing. You have to fax them, email your documents, and they have to review them, and then you say good to sign, and then they sign it. It is horrible experience. So we've solved that with our IRA accounts. It's so simple. You click to open one, and then we give you a form to fill out. That's called a rollover form. So you roll over some of the money into your account, and everything else is automated. And that is a humongous breakthrough, because previously it's just so difficult. So many barriers that people end up not doing it. So it's great. We will allow people to not only use their checking account or their credit card, but they can also use their retirement account. And then, as I mentioned, Secure, our transfer agent, that's integrated in everything, because that means that we, on your behalf, carry the books of all of who owns what. And that's going to make trading very, very simple. So we've been growing, as you know, quarter over quarter. We are raising money as well. So we're doing the same thing as you guys. We're raising money also for ourselves. You'll see that on our platform. And so we have our financials out there. You can see, what our earnings, you can see all of the different things. We're very transparent, and we think it's important because we don't want to make you feel that we're doing anything different than you are. We're exactly in the same boat. All right, so one of the concepts is this venture capital. We call them VCs. VCs provide a very important role in our society because they provide capital, except they only provide capital for very few people. They do 2,000 deals a year, the entire industry. It's 100+ billion, 130 billion, 2,000 companies. And unfortunately, that's not a lot. Keep in mind, there are 600,000 new companies a year. 600,000 new companies a year. There are 5 million small businesses in the United States. And yet you have this entire industry that everybody's focused on that only provides a service of capital for 2,000 people. 2,000 companies. And you know who those companies are, Lyft and Uber and Airbnb. WeWork, which we use a WeWork for our company. I mean, great, except it doesn't help everybody else. It helps 0.1%, 0.01%. And so we want to introduce the idea that you should be VC-free forever. And the reason it makes sense is that being VC-free means that you control your destiny. You are able to raise capital directly from the public, no strings attached. They don't want a board seat. They're not interested in a board seat. They're not interested in forcing you to sell the company or forcing you not to sell the company. They're there to cheerlead what you do. That's a great thing, a better solution for you. It's very simple. If you want to become VC-free, you learn today. This is what you're doing here. And then you sign what we call the posting agreement. We will give you that agreement to sign. And if you already signed it, you're a customer. And then at that point, we will do whatever it takes to launch. And that can be quite a lot of work. But we strive to improve our process so that it makes it as simple as possible. However, we have to follow the rules. Remember, doing the right thing, we have to follow the rules. And so we will work with you on that. So the last point is this concept of ABR, always be raising. Why? Because you could be raising money, stop raising, go build your company, get some metrics, go raise more money, or don't raise more money depending on how well you did. And it's like this start, stop constant. And you hear the entrepreneurs keep telling you, oh my God, how do I run a business if I have to go and spend all my time raising money? And then I have to go back and run the business. And then I can start again, raise more money. I mean, it just never ends, right? Well, always be raising is you're integrating the raising as part of your business. Because as you're growing your customer base, you're growing your investors. As you're growing your investors, you get more capital to grow your customer base and so on. Always be raising, never stop. So you raise $1 million with us, don't stop. Don't stop. Go raise $3 million with Regulation A+, then raise $5 million, then 10, then whatever it takes. Or raise $1 million a year using regulation crowdfunding. You can do that the next day after you're done with your offering. Start a new one. You can't take the money out because you're only allowed to take $1 million out a year, but you can still raise more money. It's a big idea. It's new. It's fresh. It's not something you've necessarily heard before, but it changes everything. I hope that the business schools in our country are going to start teaching all these new students who are going to become entrepreneurs one day like you, that this is a new way to do it. I hope, because a lot of people have the stigma that the only way you can raise money is through VCs. And I have to tell you, not a great outcome for most people.
Hi, everybody. My name is Josh Amster. I'm the VP of Sales at StartEngine. So, Howard, I wanted to kind of go back to the always be raising philosophy that you were just talking about. Because a lot of times when I speak with entrepreneurs, they tell me, well, I'm in the midst of my seed round, and then I'm going to do a $5 million Series A after that, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, how does that kind of capital raising pathway, is that fit into the always be raising mentality, or is this kind of a different sort of approach to that mentality? How does the always be raising philosophy kind of fit into that?
So I think we need to look at nomenclature, because you use these buzzwords. Series A, I don't know what that means. It's like some weird A, and there's a Series A, then Series B, C, D, E, F, and then you have seed, pre-seed, early seed, whatever. I mean, everybody comes up with all these names, and it's great, except what does that really mean? I mean, it's I don't know. It's a lot of pressure, and I don't know. The idea of always be raising is that you just go out there and say, look, I'm raising capital for my company. It's $10 a share, and this is the offer. Here's why you should invest. This is going to be really exciting, and we're building a great business. And then you've completed your raise, and then you say, oh, no, hold on a second. It was $10 a share, now it's $15 a share because we've made some good progress, and then we need some more capital. So the first $1 million got it at 10. Congratulations to you, shareholders. You were early, you got a better deal, but now it's 15. And then it's going to be 20, then 30, hopefully, and maybe not. Maybe it stays at 15 for a while, and you keep getting more investors. And those investors are more than just investors. They're brand ambassadors. They're people who can help your business. So it's always adding more value.
Yeah, and I think it's really important as well because you don't face those situations where I need to raise $1 million in 2 months, otherwise I'm out of business. If you always have that raise open, and whenever you need a kind of a capital infusion, you just ramp up your marketing efforts and start to really drive people in, and don't have to go through the whole process of getting qualified or pitching all these people. It's always there and open. And if you're getting a constant good ROI on your marketing efforts, there's going to be money trickling in, every single week, which is a really exciting concept. So.
Yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
investors are interested in the perks as well. So there's the things you offer alongside the shares you issue. They have perks, things they can do with your company. I have to tell you, we find investors who are so excited not only to be an investor but to participate in the perks. And as you grow your business, more and more people are going to want it. And so the concept of start, stop, maybe I can get more, maybe I can, and Monday morning you can look at your dashboard and you say, oh, I just got another 30,000. Great, over the weekend. That was a productive weekend. And we want you guys to feel the same way, where every Monday morning you can see what you've raised, and that is going to be part of your business for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, so obviously last Friday, StartEngine made a pretty exciting announcement that we are now a broker-dealer. So I was wondering if you could just share with the audience, why this is such a big announcement and such a big deal, not only for StartEngine, but for everybody in the crowd as well.
Yeah, this is 2 years in the making. So 2 years ago, we decided that we wanted to be a broker-dealer for many reasons, including the ability to raise capital using Regulation A+ across all 50 states, and do it by earning commissions. Previous to that, we were earning fixed fees for that. So it's better for our entrepreneurs, so they know exactly what it will cost them. But also, the second reason it was important is because it gives us the ability to have this trading platform, secondary. So the broker-dealer, 2 years in the making, quite a lot of money spent on attorneys. I had to do all these, I had to do exams. Josh had to do exams, very thick books of things that are not that related to what we do, but we had to do them. The financial industry is highly regulated, highly regulated. I mean, you see that what's happening now with Congress listening to Facebook right now. You probably read it in the papers. Facebook wants to become a financial firm, and it freaks everybody out, right? And for us, becoming a broker-dealer, now we're part of an exclusive club. That's the best way to express it. Now we can work with other broker-dealers. They can send us business, we can share commissions, we can send them business. So if we have a customer that's raised millions of dollars and some broker calls us and says, I want to raise money for them too, we can work with them. So it opens up our company to a new community of companies that we can work with.
And with the broker-dealer, mentioning a little bit about the trading platform, I know you've shared in the past how you think the one thing right now that's lacking in this industry is the ability for investors to get liquidity. So I know you talked about how we're at the final stages of getting to that process. Once that becomes available, how do you see the industry developing? Is it going to happen quickly? Is it going to happen over time? What is your prediction on what will happen when these trading platforms are available?
Well, the best way to imagine what it looks like is to see the cryptocurrency business. So you have this amazing world of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these tokens and ICOs and coins and whatever you have. They all trade. And they trade massive amounts, massive. Is there any use to those things? Not that sure about it. Frankly, it seems like it's more of a legalized, not illegal gambling business, because they're not using the financial world. But it's a proof that investors want in. They want to be able to invest, and they want to be able to trade. It's a proof that people want that. Well, guess what? That's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Let's give it to them. And so we'll be the first, in my prediction. We hope to be the first. We probably will be the first platform out there that will allow you to trade Regulation A, Regulation crowdfunding, these two regulations we talked about that you're going to be using for raising capital. We'll be the first to allow consumers to trade on it. When I mean consumers, I mean, again, not professional investors and hedge funds and brokers. I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about consumers. They can come, they can open an account with our investment accounts. They can put in $500 and start buying shares or selling shares, whatever they want. And that is extraordinary. Now, we're not, unfortunately, there yet. Last April, we had the Founders Summit, and we talked about the broker-dealer coming soon. We have it now. So this summit, we're talking about the trading platform. What I hope is by our next summit, I think it's in October, maybe we'll have the platform launched. Maybe it will launch, and it's amazing.
It's great. So that kind of wraps up the keynote presentation for now. I encourage you all to, throughout the day, come up to Howard or myself, ask us questions. We're also going to have some smaller table discussions in the afternoon that are going to be more intimate settings to have more personal conversations about what's going on with StartEngine and your business, and answering any questions that you all have. So Howard, thank you for the presentation. And next up, we're going to have a new panel regarding some of the crowdfunding successes that have been through our platform. So stay tuned.